Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It is February 13th, 2023 and reports are stating that Barcelona have reached a verbal agreement with the French center back Evan Ndicka. Also, Barcelona are still in talks to try to sign one of Spain's most promising talents, Alberto Moleiro, and Athletico Paranaense's president has confirmed that there is indeed a race to sign Vitor Roque. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and as reported in yesterday's video, Barcelona defeated Villarreal 0-1 in a very difficult and hard-fought match, where even though it wasn't one of Barcelona's best matches as of late, nonetheless the team was still pretty solid and they played really well in unison, and as a result Barcelona were able to take 3 very important points, and they're now sitting at the top of La Liga table, 11 points ahead of Real Madrid, who are yet to play their match, which will take place on Wednesday against Elche. Now, Xavi in the post-match press conference spoke about this lead that Barcelona currently have over Real Madrid, and he said, "It's not an insurmountable gap. There are 17 games left. I'm happy we are on a very good run of results. Extraordinary. We are solvent, serious, and hardworking. These games are tough, and it's another sign that the team is solvent." Now, Xavi also regretted not being able to defeat Villarreal by a bigger margin, and he assessed the match by saying, "Villarreal play you toe-to-toe. They press you constantly with almost man-to-man marking that you have to overcome to get chances. We got into a lot of good areas, but it did not materialize into much. There was a lack of final passes, a lack of decision making. When you don't do that, it's always the same. You suffer until the end. But we took 3 vital points in the fight for the league." Now, Barcelona's next opponent will be Manchester United in the Europa League on Thursday, and it's expected that this will be a very challenging and a big test for a very challenging match and a big test for Barcelona, as they will be facing off Erik ten Hag's team, who are also under construction, but nonetheless are currently doing pretty well in the Premier League, so we're gonna have to see whose project is doing better. Now on to the news that Sport 1 are currently reporting that Barcelona have reached a verbal agreement with the French defender Evan Ndicka. Now Evan Ndicka is a 23-year-old center back who currently plays for Eintracht Frankfurt in the Bundesliga, and his contract is set to expire in the summer. And it's reported that Ndicka does not want to remain at his current club and he is looking for a new adventure. Now, this report states that Barcelona have reached a personal agreement with the player so he can join Barcelona as a free agent in the summer. However, it also states that Barcelona have not made up their mind 100% on whether to sign the player or not. So Evan Ndicka are still awaiting Barcelona's final decision. And it's reported that Barcelona will be making that final decision around March, because after all, Barcelona do have 5 center backs right now in the shape of Ronald Araujo, Andreas Christensen, Jules Koundé, Eric Garcia, and Marcos Alonso. So they have to make up their mind whether they want to add a 6th center back, and it seems that Barcelona will be making that decision in March, and they will let the player know on whether they're gonna be signing him in the summer or not. Now, speaking of signings, Barcelona are reportedly still in talks to sign one of Spain's most promising young talents, Alberto Moleiro. Now, we've talked about Alberto Moleiro in the past few months. He is a 19-year-old midfielder who currently plays for Las Palmas, and he's been dubbed as the next or the new Pedri, given his very similar abilities and skills as Pedri with his vision and his passing. And Barcelona attempted to sign him in the summer, but they were unable to do so because of the financial fair play rule restrictions. And the player has expressed his desire to join Barcelona. He said that he's always been a Barcelona fan since he's a kid. And even Las Palmas president has expressed his desire for Alberto Moleiro to end up in Barcelona. And in fact, Las Palmas president had flown to Barcelona in last month or in December in order to continue the negotiations with Barcelona, since the club weren't unable to sign him in the summer. Now, Barcelona are reportedly still in talks with Las Palmas because they're very interested in signing Alberto Moleiro. However, Las Palmas are not backing down on the price. They're currently demanding that Barcelona play the release clause of Alberto Moleiro, which is worth 30 million euros, and that could go up to 60 million euros if Las Palmas end up getting promoted from the 2nd division to the 1st division of La Liga. Now, Barcelona, even though they are interested in signing Alberto Moleiro, they're not willing to pay the 30 million euro release clause. So for now, they're still in talks with the club, Las Palmas. However, if Las Palmas don't reduce their price, then Barcelona will not be going after the player. Now, Alberto Moleiro has expressed over and over again his desire to join Barcelona. However, it's reported that he's still keeping his options open because since Barcelona have not confirmed that they will try to sign him in the summer, he doesn't want to close the door on many of the clubs that are currently interested in signing him. Now, while we're still on the topic of signings, as we've discussed many times before, it is Xavi's main priorities to sign Zubimendi for that pivot position, Juan Foyth for the right back position, and of course Vitor Roque for the attack. Now, as we've talked about many times before, Zubimendi has completely been ruled out by the club because Barcelona are now willing to pay his 60 million euro release clause, not only because of the difficult financial situation that Barcelona are currently going through, but also they consider that 60 million euros is too much for a player that has not proven himself on the big stage. Now, in the case of Juan Foyth, he remains Xavi's #1 option to reinforce the right back position. But just like Alberto Moleiro, Barcelona are currently having a difficult time negotiating with Villarreal because it seems that Villarreal are not backing down and they want Barcelona to pay the release clause of the Argentinian defender, which is worth 55 million euros. Now, Barcelona are not willing to pay that much, so if Villarreal decide not to negotiate with Barcelona or not to decrease the price of Juan Foyth, and Barcelona will consider their other options such as Benjamin Pavard or Arnau Martinez. Now, in the case of Vitor Roque, Barcelona had the signing under control and the player had rejected the offers from both Chelsea and PSG and had expressed his desire to only join Barcelona. And the club were currently in negotiations with Athletico Paranaense to negotiate a payment plan to pay that 30 million euro transfer fee to avoid the financial fair play rule or restriction. But as reported in yesterday's video, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal has joined the race and they are currently trying to lure Vitor Roque to London. Now, as I explained in yesterday's video, Arsenal are currently offering Vitor Roque a very solid project where Arsenal are doing really well in the Premier League, currently sitting first on the table. They're also offering Vitor Roque to surround him by other Brazilian players such as Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, and Gabriel Magalhães. All of these players who have called already Vitor Roque to try to convince him to join Arsenal. And of course, there is Arsenal's sporting director, Edu, who was the former coordinator of the Brazilian international squad. So he has a direct access to Vitor Roque, and it's reported that he has already contacted Vitor Roque, his family, and his representatives to try to convince him to join Arsenal. And finally, there is that advantage of Arsenal that the Arsenal have where they don't have any financial problems, so they would be able to pay Athletico Paranaense the transfer fee right away in cash instead of negotiating payment plans. And they can even end up offering more than 30 million euros to try to convince Athletico Paranaense to negotiate with them directly. Now, Athletico Paranaense's president has confirmed today that there's indeed a race for the signing of Vitor Roque. And even though Barcelona are very interested in signing the Brazilian star because they consider him as the future replacement of Robert Lewandowski, Barcelona have made it very clear that they're not going to enter into any bidding wars with any other clubs. And they are not going to be held hostage by any players. So if Vitor Roque wants to join Barcelona, then he is more than welcome to do so. But if he's going to try to negotiate a higher transfer fee or a higher salary with Barcelona by leveraging other offers, then Barcelona will back out of the deal. Now, I would love to see Vitor Roque in the club after all, but I do agree that with Barcelona's strategy as to not enter bidding war and not be held hostage by other players. And this is something that Joan Laporta has done really well, which is to leverage the history and the greatness of Barcelona as one of the biggest clubs in the history of football. Because unlike Bartomeu, who used to offer players astronomical contracts with astronomical transfer fees and astronomical salaries that were way above market value to try to convince those players to come to Barcelona, Joan Laporta has been able to leverage Barcelona's appeal where he has always made it clear that if you want to come to Barcelona, then you're more than welcome to. But Barcelona are not going to go and try to spend huge amounts of money to try to convince players to come to the club, because one thing that Joan Laporta understands is that you don't need to convince players to come to the club. Many of these players grow up dreaming of playing for Barcelona, so you don't need to throw money at them to convince them to come. They already want to come. So Joan Laporta has been very good about understanding this and leveraging the appeal of the club, and that has been clear in several instances in the summer with players like Robert Lewandowski, Jules Koundé, and Rafinha, who had much better offers and way more lucrative contracts from other clubs, but yet they decided to come to Barcelona and earn less because they all wanted to play for one of the biggest clubs in the history of football. So if Vitor Roque wants to join Barcelona, then of course he's more than welcome to do so. But if he's gonna look to leverage other offers to try to get a higher salary or a higher offer, then this is not the club for him. Now we will end today's video with the news that Osasuna are looking to keep Abde for another year on loan. Now Abde is currently on loan with Osasuna, and his loan is set to expire at the end of the season, and there is no option to buy in his contract. And it seems that Osasuna are very happy with the Moroccan forward, and it looks like Abde is also happy in Osasuna, so both parties are willing to extend the loan by one more season. Now it's reported that Barcelona are not too willing to extend this loan by one more season because they want to look to make money off Abde, because they consider that Abde has not lived up to the expectation of Barcelona and that he doesn't have that Barcelona stamp of approval. So they are looking to sell him in the summer, and they think that they can make around 15 to 20 million euros. And they're not willing to send him out on loan once again. But of course, it's still pretty early, so we're gonna have to wait and see what will happen in the summer. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And as always, Peace, Barça.